Welcome to Great Up Customs. This is your host, Josh. Today we are doing something really exciting. We are popping the mold off of our retro chair with Modern Flair project. So I've got some wedges. Those are just standard plastic wedges in a couple different sizes. I have already gone around and pre-cut the perimeter of this. I figured you guys didn't want to hang out and watch the saw work and all that kind of fun jazz, but very simple. I took a fancy dancy Milwaukee hacksaw and I literally just cut around the perimeter. Real simple. So now is the moment of truth. I'm not expecting a ton of viewers on this because there's a big game on tonight, but we're working, we're having fun. So I think uh, I think the game plan is to kind of try to go around the perimeter with a couple of the smaller wedges here and just kind of catch an edge. And then we'll use some of the bigger wedges to see if we can get this popped off. Um, if I planned everything out correctly and I did my work right, it should pop off. If I didn't, this is going to be a very comical live. Let me grab a small screwdriver here, help catch an edge here. Right now the mold is definitely tight. Let's put it that way. Like I said, I have no idea if this is actually going to pop off nice or not. I'm sure going to hope it does. It's going to be a real bummer if it doesn't pop off. Got some good noises happening there. For you guys that are new to the channel, this is a project that I've been working on for about the last week now. And I've done a couple live videos in terms of getting the layup and the mold release and all the tooling stuff. And so now this is where we'll see if all the hard work actually pays off. We'll see if this actually pops apart. This might pop out easier than I thought. That would be beautiful if that was the case. Like I said, if it doesn't pop off, this is going to be comical. So cross your fingers for me here. Slam a couple bigger wedges in the back. That's sounding pretty good. Sounding pretty good, all right. Lost a wedge, that's okay. Give this a little pry and see if we can lift flip this off yet. I don't think I'm at that stage, but nope, not quite. This is the fun part. Okay, I've got some of my flange popping loose, so that's a good sign. We need to give that a little love tap around the perimeter there. See if I can gonna flip this over on the other side here. This first pop out is always the fun part. You can see the flange work is popping off. That's a good thing. Let's see if we can actually get our part out now. I was kind of hoping this would all pop out in one go. That's all right though. No big deal. It happens. Chris, I am popping a mold or popping a part off of a mold. This is a project I've been working on for about a week now. This is the mold. This is the part that we're going to try to pop out, and I really hope it pops out. So I've got all the flange work off now. This is where it gets a little tricky, guys, because obviously something's hanging up and we don't know what exactly, right? So it could just be a little bit of pressure from the mold shrinking on it. That is very, very, very normal. So what I'm going to end up doing now, we're going to get some of our smaller plastic wedges and try to catch an edge somewhere in the top here. I think is where we're going to try to go. Almost. Almost. See if I can just shock it and get it to pop out. I don't know if that's actually going to be the case on this one here. Okay, caught one edge. Now I'm going to work my way around a little bit and see if we can get enough room to slam a big wedge in the front of this here. Not quite, not quite. Getting closer. I was hoping this was going to go a little smoother, to be honest. This is not the most difficult one I've popped out, but it's this is not the easiest one I've popped out either. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Hopefully it's not too much of a comedy show. Okay, I need one more small wedge. I'm gonna grab this one. Come on, baby, we're getting so close. I'm actually gonna end up damaging this chair getting this out, I think. Let me see if I can maybe hit this with a little bit of air. Yeah, I was really hoping this would pop out a little easier. Oh, come on, baby. Come on, you're so close. If you talk to your molds, it helps them pop out. There we go. Woo! We got it. So let's see what we actually got now. Okay. Pattern is out. Let me get a blow gun. Blow this off real quick. I don't know where my air blower is. It couldn't have gone far. Oh. There we go. All right, there we go. Check that out, huh? That looks pretty okay. Fresh mold. I'm going to do a little bit of a wet sand and polish on the mold surface just to clean up any sort of little scratches from the plastic wedges that we got, but that looks really good. So there was our original pattern. So I did a little bit of tune-up work on this, changed a couple things, put a nice coat of primer surfacer on it, waxed that up real good, and now we have a mold. So that's going to be fantastic. These are going to be getting made out of carbon fiber, as well as fancy metal flakes and glitters and custom colors and all that kind of fun jazz. So trying to, again, bring a little bit of flair to a modern chair. Or a retro chair. Bring modern flair to retro chair. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Pretty happy about that. Got a little bit of a tune-up work to do around here, no big deal. I'll show you what was causing us a little bit of a hiccup. So you can see just a little bit of surface residue here on the edge there. I don't know if you can even see that in the tooling pattern. Maybe here you can see just a little bit. So that's just a little bit of the primer from what it looks like that was just kind of sticking and hanging up just a tiny bit. That's okay. That's what we wax 5 and 6 times for. So we try to prevent that. So now that I have the mold made, I'm going to end up laying, like I said, carbon fiber, custom colors, gel coat, fiberglass, whatever, on our main chair body, right? And the reason why I have nice such fat flanges here is because I'm going to put a vacuum bag around this. So I want there to be a good, call it a 2-inch gap around the whole part. So when I'm doing my feed lines and I'm doing my infusion lines and my vacuum bag lines, um, we don't come anywhere close to that flange. But that's looking pretty darn good. So let me kind of move this around a little bit. So the other kicker that I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up putting some bracing on some of the. I'm going to end up putting bracing on some of this perimeter around here, so it sets on the table a little bit more flat. I think I'm going to have to play around with that a little bit and see what angle I actually want to set it up at. If I want to, set it up so it's, a little bit higher this way, or if I want to kind of set it up so it's a little bit higher that way. I don't really know about that yet, so I might grab some fabric and kind of start draping this around just to kind of see how it covers. I don't have a whole ton of carbon fiber to just play around and drape with right now, but basically the idea is we're going to put carbon fiber in here, put a vacuum bag around that, and going around some of these corners is going to be a little tricky just because of the shape. The carbon's going to want to distort, especially around this corner and here, because we're going to have fabric basically wanting to do this around that corner. So there's going to need to be some amount of distortion that I'm either going to have to be okay with, or I'm going to have to put a seam somewhere, which I don't really want to seam this, but I might have to just to make it one piece. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm going to have to get a bigger chunk of carbon and kind of play around with the different angles and the directions, because it depends on if I want to put the fabric going 0 and 90, or if I want to put the fabric going 45 degrees. That's going to make a big difference in terms of how it conforms in this shape. And from the look of it, it looks like going 45 is going to probably be my ticket. So when you put things on the bias at the 45, you get to go around corners a little bit easier compared to 0-90, where one of the toes is not exactly wrapping around. So I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but you can actually see the carbon fiber pattern here. You can see that we've got toe going up and down and left and right. And so by putting it at a 45 and then going around a corner, you got a little bit more conformability doing it this way. Yeah, just like that. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm going to play around with this a little bit and kind of take a look at what makes the most sense for laminating this and doing a nice looking carbon fiber layup. I think that's the most important part of this chair, is making it look cool. So if it means that it needs a seam, it needs a seam. If it doesn't need a seam, it doesn't need a seam. But I have a very sneaky hunch that coming around this corner, it's not going to want to do what I want it to do. Maybe. It's going to be really close. There's going to be a little bit of distortion in that area no matter what, but I just don't want it to be too extreme where if the fabric gets pulled too much, it gets distorted, So we want to try to keep it pretty. But hey, I'm excited. The chair popped out of the mold. We have a mold. I can do some tune-up work on this. And yeah, we can get to partying after that. So anyway, that's it for today. Retro chair, modern flare. Mold is good. Surface finish looks pretty good. Once we put a little bit of a wet sand and buff on that, it's going to be fantastic. And then it's just a matter of starting to lay these up and make cool chairs. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. Happy Sunday, everybody. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe, throw on your notifications because I do a lot of live videos compared to doing reels and shorts and full length videos. I like to go live just so you guys can follow the procedures and learn about what you're watching. So yeah, it's all good. So anyway, have a good one. Rock and roll, everybody. I'll catch you later.